The attention that the Winx Club gets, Witch should get it too. Yes, I believe in Irma supremacy. There
deciding what to wear. It's now or never. You can't slow down. Gotta get it together, cause time is running out. Final countdown. Get ready now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gotta look hotter than hot. Get dressed up to rock. No time to stop. No. Ready or not. Gotta look hotter than hot. Gotta show what you got. No more time on the clock. Ready or not. You got to choose what style of color, yellow, green, red, or blue.
hope you guys enjoyed the little music video I put together for you. I enjoyed it, so I hope you did too. Ariana and I am back with another video. Welcome to the pirate ship, Harry Hook's pirate ship. Remember, I am the captain. You are not my first mate, especially because some of y'all not getting it. Do not try the captain. You will regret it. You will regret it. Karma gonna get you. Don't try the captain. If you're new here, hello, my name is Harriyanna. I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I do find within those subjects. And today we're going to be talking about something really fun. Really fun. Nothing too serious, but really fun. But before we can get into that, you know, we got to do the commercials. We got to do the self-promotion. We always start off, like I said, I am promoting this all Disney-cember. I have a Twitter account. Yes, I have a Twitter. It's across the screen right here. Please go follow me. And yeah, moving on. I have a Patreon. Please go support me on Patreon if you can. I post a lot of exclusive behind-the-scenes content about the projects that I am working on. You get early access to all my videos. You get access to my Discord server. It's real chill over there. I really like it over there. Good vibes only. Yeah, and a lot of other things that I am offering in the months to come. So please go support me on Patreon. I made the tiers as cheap and affordable as I could. And yes, if you can support me on Patreon, please do. And last but not least, we have to talk about The Progenies. The Progenies is a Descendants fan series that I am currently in the process of making with a few other people. And we want to portray these characters in a more positive light and also in a more with better diversity, if that makes sense. So yes, please support us on The Progenies. We have our pilot link down below. We also have our Indiegogo campaign link down below too. So please support our campaign. Even if you can't donate, just share it. Please watch our pilot. Just any little support helps us with that project. Now, on to today's video. Also, a friendly reminder that requests are closed, and starting in January, requests are only open to my patrons. So, yeah. No longer accepting requests from it's a long story. I don't want to get into it. On to today's video. Many of you guys have been asking me if I ever heard of or seen a show called Witch, and the answer is yes. Why do y'all assume that like I've never heard of something or never seen of something? Like, y'all, I'm a nerd. If there's something out here, I am aware of it, okay? All nerds know about everything. We may have not watched it. We may not know anything about it. But we're aware that it exists, okay? Y'all, I am aware Witch exists. Also, along with the Winx Club. I am aware Harry Potter exists. I am aware that Divergent exists. I'm aware that Kipo exists, okay? There's a lot of things that y'all think I don't know are in this world, and I do. But yes, as I was saying, I watched Witch as a child. No, I can't tell you what happened in it. In America, we have this channel called Toon Disney, which is now basically Disney XD. And Toon Disney was a channel that just strictly played cartoons. They played cartoons from probably like all over the world. They played smaller, lesser known cartoons. It was just Cartoon Network, but in Disney style. Like, yeah, we've been dragging Disney XD a lot on this channel lately. But yeah, Toon Disney had a block called Jetix. And Jetix was the block where they aired a lot of the more action type cartoons. Where throughout the day on Toon Disney, they aired the more reserved and calm, cool, and collected cartoons such as Fillmore and Pepper Ann. The show only aired in America for about 2 years before they just stopped playing it, at least on Toon Disney. I'm not sure if they aired it on another network here in America, but I know for sure on Toon Disney it only aired for like 2 years and then it was gone. I was in pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade when Witch was on air. I even had a Happy Meal toy from Witch. I even bought a comic book from the Scholastics Book Fair. Shout out to the Scholastics Book Fair. You will be missed. You will be missed dearly. I did have the comic book, like I mentioned earlier, and I can't tell you what was in it. I don't have it anymore. My mother took it from me, like I have mentioned in my past video before. You guys know how Black parents are with witchcraft. She saw me reading it. I wasn't even reading it. I was just flipping through the book, just looking at the pictures, and she was like, yeah, it's not right to be reading things about witches shaping the world. And I was just like, well, actually, they're not witches. Their names just spell witch. But she didn't want to hear it. She took my book, she took my toy, and then told me I could no longer watch the show on air. So I barely have any memory of like the actual plot. I just remember what it looked like. Like, it's the Wizards of Waverly Place thing all over again. But now that I'm grown, I can make my own decisions. I can watch what the freak I want. So I decided to spend my entire December rewatching Witch, and y'all, this show deserves a lot more. This show deserves a lot more. The attention that the Winx Club gets, Witch should get it too. Like, I have to throw this in here because I mentioned the Winx Club, y'all. I've never had an interest in the Winx Club. It's so hard for me to get into it. I'm sorry, y'all. I just have no interest in it. I tried to watch it a while back when y'all kept asking me to. I just can't do the Winx Club. I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it. Now, what is Witch? Witch is a French cartoon based off the Italian comic book of the same name. The show revolves around 5 girls named Will, Irma, Taranee, Cornelia, and Lynn, as the first letter of all their names spell the acronym WITCH. That's why the show is called Witch. It stands for them. They're not actually witches, they are guardians. They are guardians of a place called Meridian, and all of their powers are based off of natural elements like fire, earth, water, and air. It's basically girly Avatar: The Last Airbender if it took place in modern day. Like, yeah, that's like the best way for me to sum it up. It's very, very similar, but a more contemporary style Avatar: The Last Airbender. I hate making comparisons to other shows when I talk about them, but like it's just spot on. It's just spot on right there. Mind you that Witch has been a thing before Avatar: The Last Airbender, so that's just something to keep in mind, because people like to say such and such copy so and so, and like, no. Even though Witch and Avatar: The Last Airbender do share those similarities, they are nothing alike. I never realized how many French cartoons were a part of my childhood. Like, I had Witch, I had Totally Spies, I had Code Lyoko, and I had Miraculous Ladybug, which was the later end of my childhood. So that's actually really interesting that I find. But then I realized it was a French cartoon because the normal aspects of the show were done well. Like, they were done pretty well. My friend Elyon, I will link his new song down below. You guys go listen to it. I was talking to him about this, and he said that French does slice of life well. He didn't lie. He didn't lie. Elyon had points there. He did not lie. He be making points in general, but like, that was like a really great one he made. And you think this is one of them cartoons that you can just go in and watch at any time and understand what is going on? You are boo-boo the fool. You are boo-boo the fool. Like, this show has a plot. It has a consistent plot where you gotta start from the beginning to understand what's going on, and you have to watch every episode that comes after that. I wouldn't really say that the show had filler episodes, because they did have filler episodes, but they weren't at the same time. Like, every single episode was important to the plot in some kind of way. No matter how important or how less important it was, all of them came together in the end. Also, the creator of Miraculous Ladybug worked on this show, so Yeah, if you guys are interested in my Miraculous Ladybug video where I literally just debunked it, oh, you know, my usual pointing out the misogyny and racism and stuff, I'm gonna link that down below because points were made. I don't care they demonetized the mess out of that video, but I was not wrong. I made points and I don't apologize. Yeah, I noticed his name in the credits when the show was like starting, and I was like, I know that's not who I think it is. I thought I could escape this man, and I could not, and he's back. But y'all already know how I feel about him. If you haven't, I'll link that video down below. The cast for the American version of the show is very recognizable. Like, even if you don't recognize the names of these actors or whatever, you know the voice. You know the voice. Beast Boy from Teen Titans. Max from a Goofy movie. Dr. Wakeman from My Life as a Teenage Robot. And also D. Bradley Baker's in this. You know, you can't never tell. That man know how to do so many freaking voices. D. Bradley Baker is extremely talented. But yes, D. Bradley Baker worked on this show. If anything, that man worked on every show in your freaking childhood, okay? Okay. Season 1 of which is basically just a lot of backstory of how the girls came together and became guardians and how they adjusted to their lives with this gift that they were given. Season 1 is, I'd say, it's cuter than season 2 because season 2 gets dark. Like, it's not even just dark, it just gets depressing, okay? Literally all the girls are just going through it and I couldn't take it because I got so attached to these characters in season 1 that when I was just watching them in pain in season 2, it hurted and I just wanted to like just cry. I just wanted to cry. Like, it really hurt me to see these girls in pain. And what made it worse is that a lot of this pain that was being caused to them wasn't even by kids their own age. It was being caused by adults. So that was really creepy. It was kind of like Teen Titans effect all over again. And this show actually was on air when Teen Titans 2003 came on. I do have a Teen Titans video coming up soon. Got you on that. My favorite show ever. But I would flip back and forth and watch Witch and Teen Titans, and I can only comprehend what was going on in one of them. Yeah. And also I wasn't banned from watching Teen Titans, so I watched this show probably about 10 times in my life. So I know that show like the back of my hand, okay? If y'all need anything about Teen Titans 2003, I'm your girl. Like, it's one part that pisses me off so bad when Narissa disguised herself as Will to try to manipulate and hurt her boyfriend, which she does. She's successful in it, and I hate it so much. I was like, poor Will, poor Matt, they didn't deserve that. I think it hurt me so bad because Will and Matt were my favorite couple in this show, and that was just like, I was just like, is this what we're doing? Is this what we're really doing? And because of like them being in pain so much, it was so hard for me to get through season 2 because I just don't like watching my favorite characters in pain. Like when Luz cries on the Owl House, it makes me want to cry. Like, I can't do it. When Lena from DuckTales cried, I cried. Like, I'm a sucker for crying. I cry all the time. I'm not gonna say how the show ends because I am aware that a lot of people have not watched this show, and then y'all get annoyed when people put a lot of spoilers in their video reviews. So you know what? I'm not gonna spoil the ending. Just know it's gonna hurt. I don't need y'all cussing me out in the comments talking about I spoiled Witch for you and I wanted to rewatch this. No, you should go rewatch Witch, but I'm not gonna tell you how it ended, okay? There, respect me. Even though this show is a drama, it's hilarious. It's actually really, really freaking funny. A lot of these little old white sitcoms that y'all be talking about, Friends, Home Improvement, Full House, which is way funnier. I don't care. Which is freaking hilarious. One negative thing about this show that does bother me, you know I have to go there. I am harriyannahook. You know I'm here to debunk that. Is that the girls could be a bit over-sexualized with the outfit choices that they gave them. Especially when they transformed. But the thing about it is I kind of like let it slide because their features in the show were more childlike than they were in the comic book. In the comic book, they didn't even look like kids. Like, they were like built like grown women, like thick hip, big breasts, like wide hips, big booty. It was really kind of disturbing. Glad that the features for the character designs were more childlike because y'all, these are children, and I understand that there are some children that are more developed, but they're fully clothed, okay? Like, I protect the kids over here. Protect the children. This also is a very character-based show where, like, if you watch from the beginning and you keep going over time, you see that these people are slowly starting to change and they're slowly starting to grow as people. Like I said, I'm not one to care about the action adventure genre in television shows. So if you got me sold on just the characters in general, I will watch your show, okay? But yes, even though Witch does focus on both the character and story, they both balance each other out, if that makes sense. Like, you do have this fantasy part of the show, and then you also have the realistic slice of life part of the show. Some of my favorite dynamics that I saw on the show is that I really enjoyed watching Will and her mother interact. I love how we got to see that Will and her mom didn't have the best mother-daughter relationship. Like, we saw them fight, we saw them argue, we saw that they just didn't get along. And the main reason for this is because Will's dad was no longer in the picture. And it hurt both of them, and they were having such a horrible time dealing with that. Like, this is like the first time that they were on their own for good without that man. And they were hurt. And they butted heads so much because of that. The thing about it is that this technically isn't Disney. Disney just had the rights to it and aired it. A lot of times it does bother me is that we don't really see a reason for why the kids and the parents don't really get along much. But here we know the history, we know the background between these two people, and that's why it works so well. Another one of my favorite dynamics on the show, I think this might have been my favorite. The thing about it is that, like, it was mainly like a season 1 thing, and season 2 was just kind of but I love the entire situation with Cornelia and Elyon's friendship. Another thing I really do enjoy about Witch is that it showed that friendship is very important and it should be valued more, because Elyon was not close with her family. Her family was freaking evil, okay? And that's why she wasn't really close to her parents. Her parents had to lie to her a lot to protect her for her own safety. So Cornelia was kind of all she had at the time. Like, her family was freaking psychotic, okay? I will go there. Elyon's family deserves death, okay? They are horrible. Hello? Okay, thank you so much. Bye. Thank you, bye. My pizza just got delivered. I think I should go get that. I'll be back. Sorry, we had to take care of that. Back to the video. We were talking about Cornelia and Elyon's friendship, but like I said, she was not super close with her family, and Cornelia was all she had. So when Cornelia became a guardian, it really hurt her, because Cornelia was no longer joined at the hip with Elyon. She had to be with the other girls and their new responsibilities of saving the world, okay? So she didn't really have time for Elyon anymore, and it really hurt her because Cornelia was like kind of like her only friend, if that makes sense. It's kind of sad in that sense. Okay, Caleb and Cornelia's relationship annoyed me. They had too much drama. They were just kind of like that annoying, bickering couple. I don't know. I didn't really ship them like that. I don't know. I like Cornelia and Caleb separately as people, but them together just really was kind of frustrating. Like, they did have great chemistry together and whatnot. I didn't really mind them dating. It's just when they were dating, it was frustrating. I like Caleb and Cornelia before they became official, if that makes sense. And it honestly kind of felt like they didn't really become official like that. I don't know. It's strange. Matt and Will are the superior couple of the show. I will fight y'all on this one. Like I said, I will fight y'all on a lot of stuff. I most definitely will fight you on Matt and Will's relationship. It was just that cute, nice, little, innocent puppy love relationship that I am a sucker for. It was just fluff. You know when you read a fan fiction and it's just fluffy, fluffity, fluff, fluff? Will and Matt. I loved it, and I hate when those freaking monsters came in trying to ruin a relationship. Like, I was just done. I was like, do not do the best couple in this show like this. Okay, but then we have to get into this. One thing that did frustrate me really with why I prefer season 1 over season 2 is that I don't really like how season 2 is just so based on all the girls getting a love interest. Like, they are in middle school, okay? Middle school relationships Like, what even are they? Where even are they? You're probably not even gonna remember you dated that person 5 years down the line, okay? I just don't like how so much of season 2 just focused on them wanting male attention. And I don't know. It was just really annoying to me. Which is why I think season 1 was a bit better than season 2. Because season 2, like I said, it not only did it have that factor and it just being really sad from time to time, that season 1 they did have love interests. Like, Will and her boyfriend were together in season 1, and we did have the thing where Irma and Martin would like just get on each other's nerves, or really Martin just bothered her and she just tolerated him. And then Cornelia and Caleb's relationship was just starting to build. I like how we did see it from time to time, but that wasn't the main focus, where a lot of the relationships in season 2 were shifted more to the front. That's just my problem in general with shows that take place like in contemporary times with teenagers, and like especially like middle school teenagers too, that they're just so focused on being in a relationship that they kind of just disregard a lot of the other things in life. And like, there's more stories to tell with children coming of age than just relationships. Like, yes, I understand that it is a big aspect of it, but it really did start to bother me how a big chunk of the show just started to focus on that. But it was done well though, so I really can't complain. Like, if that makes sense, it was done pretty well. Like, season 1 was happier, even though it was still really, really sad. It was a lot happier. This is not a happy show, by the way, if you're looking for something happy to watch. Like, it's happy, but then when it's happy, it's happy. When it gets dark, okay? And it gets really dark. I know nobody asked for this, but here are my 4 favorite episodes, from which no specific order. These were just my favorite for some reason. I don't know why. 1, L is for loser.
Right up, but case ship. Sheffield Institute Productions is now leaving the dock on its rockin' maiden voyage.
So you're what, a size 4?
Irma Lair is on the air.
Mother is ruining my life
Caught you talking to Nigel again?
and confiscated my cell phone.
Which reminds me.
You're calling Matt again?
Yes.
No, there he is. Matt? Eric.
2, Walk This Way. Happy birthday, Will.
Believe me, when she sees the party I throw, she'll be too jazzed to remember what she said. Hey, Lynn, you pick a theme and do the decorations. Now we just need a place to hold it.
Why not your place?
Problem. My last party was so unbelievably great, my parents say I can't have another one until after I leave home.
And 4, N is for narcissist. Hi, so I see I made a little mistake. I didn't mean to say N is for narcissist. I meant to say O is for obedient. N is for narcissist is still a pretty good episode, but I don't know. I prefer O is for obedient over it. So instead of a clip from N is for narcissist, it's going to be a clip from O is obedient.
To make you feel the beat. If you wanna hear about it, gotta pump a little louder. Then you may just feel the beat. Never cool it, never fake it, never kick it down or break it. Got to make you feel.
Now we are in my favorite part of all my videos. You know I go ham, I go in when it comes to character talk, okay? I go in. We're gonna start with... Hey, before I even begin with character talk, this show had way too many characters. Like, way too many characters that were very, very relevant to the plot. So I'm just gonna limit it down to the Guardians and then whoever else I really wanted to talk about, because they were the only people I felt worthy of talking about. I'm sorry. I know people be wanting me to do all the characters, but y'all, do y'all really want a 3-hour-long video? Yes or no? Like, literally one day I can sit down and make more witch content about each individual character. But here we're just gonna keep it short, okay? We're just gonna keep it short. We're gonna start with Blunk. I didn't like him. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. I found him really annoying. He was not funny. I could tell he was just there for that slapstick comic relief aspect of a lot of children's shows. But no, he just did nothing for me. Like, he was dirty, he stank, he was really, really ugly, he was annoying. I just don't like Blunk. He was just a sidekick character, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of these mystical creature type shows feature sidekick characters, and that's just what Blunk was. Didn't really care too much for him. Now we have Caleb. Caleb had to grow on me. In the beginning, I didn't care too much for him. I thought he was very dull, very, very bland. But as he spent more time on Earth and with the Guardians, you know, actual human people, we got to see him open up a little bit and become a little bit more likable. Like, Caleb was never dislikable from the jump. It's just he was dull and we didn't know what to think too much of him. Like, he was just really, really stern, and that resulted in him having, like, no personality. But as he got used to everybody and how him and Cornelia, like, got a little close, we did get to see him open up a little bit. And I especially love that scene when they're at the dance and he just starts dancing. Cornelia just kind of rolls his eyes because he can't freaking dance. But I really enjoyed that scene so much because we finally get to see Caleb grow as a character. Like, he's finally starting to become a little bit more carefree and not so hectic all the time.
You dance in Meridian?
What do you call this?
Yeah, as the show went on, he opened up, he became more calm, and he became a bit more fun. So yeah, for the most part, Caleb is a pretty good character. Now we're on the Elyon. Y'all, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people adore Elyon, but yeah, I couldn't stand her. I couldn't freaking stand her. She was too whiny for me. I'd say that. She was really whiny. Like, I know she was going through a lot. She had her reasons for crying all the time and whatever. I understand Elyon. I cry all the time too, but like, I don't like watching other characters cry because it reminds me of my pain. And I just couldn't do Elyon. She was just too sad for me, and I couldn't do it. Like, she was just annoying. Also, when she was just introduced to the show, like early on in the show's run, I noticed that she was there a lot, and it was annoying me because I was like, why is this little girl here? Why does she keep following Cornelia everywhere? Why does she keep trying to butt into the Guardian's business? Why is this child here? Like, I was not putting two and two together that this was one of those shows that you had to keep watching to understand what was going on and that the plot was going to come together eventually. That was before I figured that out. Like I said, if you don't watch from the beginning, you're gonna be lost about what's going on in which. And then it hit me. I was like, you know what? She might be important to the plot. She might be important to the plot. Just let it slide. Just let it slide. Let it slide. And I was like, you know what? Okay, Elyon. Okay, I tolerate you now. I just kind of don't like how they just threw her in there with like no explanation. They barely even said who she was. She was just kind of like there looking like Cornelia's minion. Like, she ended up being a princess. We know her family sucks, whatever. But even after that, and we found out about that, I still really didn't care too much for her character. Like, after that, like, when she was no longer whiny Elyon, she just became annoying. Like, she just became dull. Like I said, I'm not Elyon Hive. I'm sorry. Also, we're not really gonna talk about him, but her brother, did anybody get like major pedo vibes from him? Because I did. Every time he came up on the camera, I was really uncomfortable, okay? Like, am I the only one that got pedo vibes from that dude? He's gross. I didn't like him whatsoever. Now we're getting into Will. I'm gonna be real. I wasn't big on Will in the beginning because I thought she was a bit dull, but then I remember that this is one of those shows where these characters, the character matters. You have to keep watching it to understand these people. So I was like, you know what? Maybe Will will grow on me. And she did. Will ended up being one of my favorite characters in this show. Like, I thought she was dull, and then it hit me that she's the new girl. Of course she's not going to be all that entertaining in the beginning because she's in a new place. She knows none of these people. She literally was just given a bunch of new responsibilities, and she don't know how to handle them. So, of course, Will's introduction to the show, she wasn't going to be the most interesting. But as she came out of her shell and started to open up more, Will is one of the more reserved characters of the show, but she is still pretty great. Also, I do have to mention that Will is the main character. While she does have the same main characteristics, she's the main character, but she's likable enough for you to root for her. She's likable enough for you to want her to win. And I would understand if somebody said Will was their favorite character. Like, Will was one of my favorite characters, but she wasn't the favorite. I'll get into my favorite girl next because she was that girl. But yeah, she's a very, very sweet girl. But she was also very, very scary. That's the thing about Will, is that she was not really much of a risk taker. She did take risks, but when she did it, she was just always terrified. And it wasn't, I didn't say it was irritating. It was a very realistic aspect of the show. And that's another thing I really do appreciate about W.I.T.C.H is that even when they went out to be guardians and, like, you know, do their guardian business and whatnot, it was still done in a way that a normal human being would do. Like, they still reacted the same way. They screamed, they shouted, they hated it. When they had to touch something nasty, they freaked out. I love how it was just very realistic if a human were put in those type of weird, sticky situations. But how I felt about Will is how I felt about Caleb's character. But I had a bigger connection to Will's character because we spent a lot more time with Will than we did with Caleb. And also, Caleb, like, he didn't grow up on Earth, but Will did. So Will was a bit more relatable in that sense. And also because Will is like the leader of the Guardians, she is what helped that group stay functioning, okay? Because if Will and Haylin were not there, it would have been a disaster. It would have been a big, huge disaster. She's a very strong lead. Like, no, Will is not perfect, but she gets the job done, and I really do appreciate that. Irma. My girl, my favorite character. I am Irma Hive. I am Irma Trash. I don't care. I think the main reason why I like Irma so much is because she reminds me of me. I will go there. Irma is that girl. I freaking loved her. I won't say she's the best character because everyone is subjected to their own opinion, but she's my favorite. I think, like I said, I think the main reason I like her so much is because she reminds me of me. Like, she's that loudmouth girl that don't hold back her opinions. She had that dry sense of humor, and she wasn't popular, and she just did not care. Irma was that girl, okay? Irma is a boss. Michelle Obama, First Lady, Oprah Dallas. And yes, I believe in Irma supremacy. There were a lot of times when Irma was wrong, and I pretended not to see it. I was like, Irma didn't do that. Irma's okay. But you know what? When Irma was wrong, she owned up to it. That's why we believe in Irma supremacy. She honestly reminds me of Luz from the Owl House. That's probably why it reminded me of her. But if Luz was a bit more chaotic, that makes sense. That would be Irma. Like, she's a Luz on 10, if that makes sense, okay? Luz on 10. But for the most part, I love Irma. I could just sit here and talk about Irma's character development all day. I am Irma Hive. I am Irma Trash. Irma, it was just a very, very fun character. Loved her so much. I really did enjoy her arcs the most, where we did get to see how her personality interfered with how she acted with people. That's one thing I do appreciate about this show, is that they didn't just have Irma there to be like the annoying loudmouth friend. We actually saw her as a human being. Now we're into Taranee. I'm gonna be real. Taranee is kind of boring. The early 2000s portrayal of black characters is extremely weird. Let's just go there. Taranee season 1's very dull, but season 2 is, I prefer her. It was kind of like watching a different girl a little bit, but season 2 Taranee, she was starting to come out of her shell a little bit more, and her getting a boyfriend resulted in that. She got more shine in season 2, if that makes sense. Like, she was trying to live on the edge more, take more risk and whatever, and that resulted in her mother being angry with her. But for the most part, like I said, Taranee just suffers from that weird syndrome that all early 2000s cartoon black characters suffer from, where they just kind of didn't know what to do with them. They just threw them in there to meet a quota, and that's it. They just wanted to say they had black representation in the show, and boom, Taranee was there. She had a really cute character design, though. And also because her character was just really, really wasted potential. Like a lot of black cartoon characters were back then. Just wasted potential. They could have done so much more with her. And it did bother me how they gave all the other girls more interesting storylines. And Taranee was just kind of like there to be Irma's sidekick a lot of the times. And that really did bother me. Like, she was either Irma's sidekick or Haylen's sidekick. It's like they really didn't know what to do with Taranee. Cornelia, a hot mess. But I loved her, okay? Cornelia in the episode 1, I wanted to punch that girl in her nose. And there was more other times where I wanted to punch Cornelia in the nose. Cornelia was terrible, but she knew it. That's what made her okay. That's why I could deal with her. And Cornelia knew she was bad, and she wanted to become a better person. Like, the thing about Cornelia is that she wasn't terrible. It's just she had people issues. She had a hard time interacting with people that she didn't like. She was not cordial. She had a really hard time being cordial. That was Cornelia's issue. She didn't know how to control her temper. She didn't know how to control her issues. But over time, we did see her eventually get better with that. So I do appreciate that with Cornelia. She never grew as a character. I probably wouldn't like her. But for the most part, I loved her. She was funny. Her and Irma's banter was freaking hilarious. And I love Irma because Irma was like the only person that could put Cornelia in her place. It's like the other girls, even Haylin sometimes. Haylin kind of gave Cornelia what she deserved. But like Will Taranee was just quiet. And Irma was like, no, you wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. But like anytime like Irma or Cornelia will like go back and forth, I was just hollering. It was actually really hilarious. And last but not least, we have Miss Beautiful Haylin. Haylin is a very cute character. I felt like they played Haylin's character a little too safe by making her a neutrally overall good character, where instead of with Taranee's character, Taranee was just boring to a certain extent, where Haylin was cute and fun, but I felt like they could have just did something a lot more with her, how she was just kind of there also with Taranee. What do you know? The two girls of color are the ones that kind of were pushed to the back. Makes sense. And the thing about it is that Haylin mattered a lot because her grandma helped them a lot with their missions or whatever. And like I said, I really did adore Haylin because she hated drama and just wanted everybody to get along. She always stayed on the positive side of things, and she would literally go to war for her granny, okay? She went to war for her granny. If you tried anything about Haylin and her granny, you was gonna catch her hands. But yes, I felt like Haylin, even though Will was the leader of the group, Haylin was the balance of the group. Like literally, what would that group have been without her? And that's the reason why these 5 girls were picked to be the Guardians, because they all balanced each other out. If they picked a whole bunch of girls that had the same personality as a Will or a Taranee or Irma or a Cornelia or Haylin, it would not have worked. That's the reason why this show works so much and why their friendship dynamic works so well. It's because all the girls are different. Last but not least, do I recommend this show? Most definitely I recommend Witch, okay? Even if you don't like the genre of fantasy or sci-fi or whatever, I still highly recommend you watch it. Watch it for the characters. If you want like a cute little nice sitcom style show to watch, watch Witch. Okay, I'm sorry y'all, my nose is killing me right now. Also, Witch might be one of those shows that you end up liking more than you intended or less than you intended, because you'll probably like one more aspect of the show better than the other. That's what happens with me. I honestly did not care about all that stuff that went on Meridian. That's a lot of things that I find about these French cartoons. I don't care when they go on the missions. Like when Miraculous Ladybug, I just care about the kids doing kid stuff. I don't really care too much when they turn to superheroes. Totally Spies, I didn't care when they went on them freaking missions. I just cared about when they was living it up in Beverly Hills. Here on Witch, I just love watching them living their lives and dealing with their powers on a regular basis, whatever. I didn't care when they went to Meridian. Like I said, depending on who you are, you may like the coming of age slice of life aspect of the show more than you like the fantasy aspect. You may like the fantasy aspect better than the coming of age part. It's all up to personal preference, but I personally think that there is a little bit of something for everyone in this show. As we are coming to a close with Disney-cember, this was like my grand finale of the year. This is my last video of the year. Thank you guys so much for riding on this freaking pirate ship. It has been a crazy year, okay? It has been so much going on in my personal life, in the world. It's been terrifying, it's been funny, it's been scary. I've laughed, I've cried so much. So much great has come out of this year, while also so much terrible has come out of this year. But as I like to stay on the bright side of things and try not to be so negative about it all. I'm very appreciative and thankful for you guys. And because of that, I wanted to make this video super duper special. I posted on my Instagram that I would like to show some of you guys' artwork in my videos, because a lot of you guys that do follow me are artists. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow me on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, especially love Tumblr over there. Support me on Patreon if you can. Please go watch the Prodigy's pilot. It is linked down below. And yes, you guys, I love you. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night, and let's cue the fan art.
Just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.